Okay, so joining me in my garage today is world-famous bass player, found his feet as one of the founding members of massive band Ocean Colour Scene, and then went on to play with some of the greats of rock and roll history. But no point me telling you about it when he's sat right here. Damon Minchella. Hello, Damon. How's it going, man?
Tom, nice to meet you. I'm all right, bit hungover though.
Yeah, well, we were just talking. You said you had like a playback, a self-congratulatory playback, listening to some tunes. You got to give yourself a little pat on the back and celebrate every now and again, aren't you, when you've done something special?
Yeah, exactly. The problem is at my age, hangovers take about 3 days to get rid of. So it's like a balancing act between...
Same. I can't do it anymore. I'm already way past it. Like, I just can't. It's just not fun. I'm just like mopey for about a week after. I'm literally in a onesie now. I had a drink last August. I haven't taken the onesie off. Walking around looking like a sexy Teletubby.
Exactly. It's a strong look.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. I've been stalking you on Instagram. You've been doing loads of things through lockdown. It's not stopped you or slowed you down so much, really, has it?
No, I mean, obviously the gig thing, which obviously you know as well. I mean, that's for us lot, and also for all the crew and all that kind of thing has been really tough. But in terms of making music, it hasn't, studio stuff and writing, that hasn't really changed at all. With my production part, we're lucky enough to have a really good studio not far from here, and because it's not a commercial studio, we can use it whenever we want. Even if you're in lockdown, we're allowed to go to it. So yeah, it's been super busy, but and then you look back, we should have been doing a load of gigs with Ashcroft, and it's like that, and we got some gigs booked in next year, but it's like,
yeah,
who knows?
We're in the same boat. Like, I've always wanted to play at the Manchester Ritz. We've done some supporters there, but I'd always wanted to headline it, and we finally got it booked in. It was supposed to be March, literally just as like lockdown happened, and then since then it moved to October, and now it's in April, and I feel like it might even be like way further down the line than that. And I've got a massive poster, the gig poster, and I walk past it every day, and it's I need to take it down and replace it with something. It makes me sad every day. But I feel like what you were saying about maybe not having gigs though it's definitely enhanced my songwriting. Like I have just been sat here in my garage, just probably not as fancy as your studio. I'm freezing. You can probably see my breath. But I've honestly written so many songs. I've just literally not stopped. And I think if there was any kind of silver lining in all of this COVID business, then it has given it's certainly given me time. So I assume like other creative people, it's given them time to actually sit and actually create things instead of being so busy and worrying about what shoes I'm going to wear. I've just been doing that.
Well, you even put a song out about it, the open letter to creatives, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's going to hit. I think that's been officially released on next Wednesday. I don't really know what's going on with it, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe it'll be Christmas number one.
We need to put some sleigh bells on just to make sure.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, a Christmas open letter to Christmas creatives. Yeah, I wrote that because I was having a chat with Miles Hunt from the Wonder Stuff. I don't know if you know him. He's a really lovely man. I was like having a bit of a moan to him, just saying like, "Oh, it's crap. This I just want my life back. I'm sick of not showing off on stage. It's really affecting me and stuff." And he basically gave me all the advice that's in that. So really, I probably should give him some kind of writing credit on it, but I won't.
Yeah, exactly.
So can we talk about? I was talking to James Welsh out of Star Sailor last week, and I wanted to speak to him about what making it meant. Some people say to me, "Oh, you've made it now. You've made it in music," and I am a full-time musician, so I suppose in a way I have, but I don't feel like I've made it. Like, certainly not. And I wanted to ask him what the moment that he felt like he made it was, and he said it was Top of the Pops. Now I know you've done that, and I've never gone to, which is upsetting. But was that the moment for you as well? Or did you have another moment?
I reckon, pretty much so. But what I would say, I'd agree with James, even though he's a dirty, stinking Liverpool fan, and I never told him.
It was difficult to talk to him. Oh, you an Everton fan? Well, I'm a United fan, so at least we've got an enemy in common.
Shared hatred. But I would say it was probably about the second or third time we went on Top of the Pops, because the first time we were thinking, really don't want to be one hit wonders,
right?
Because you were always doubting yourself at all times. So when Riverboat was a hit and we had no idea it was going to be a hit, we picked what we thought was the most uncommercial song off the album to release as a single. Really, probably in the back of our minds to just safeguard ourselves in case it wasn't a hit.
Right.
So let's pick the one that won't be a hit. And then you're thinking, oh shit, what happens if the follow-up just flops? But then the follow-up went in higher, and then the next one, which was David Caught the Train, went in even higher. And you're like, all right, yeah, okay. And I think you know, you've made it when the security people at Top of the Pops know who you are because you've been there a few times, and they kind of let you in without being arsey. So yeah, we had a tour for follow-up album to Moses Shoals, and it was an arena tour, really big one. And we were thinking it's too big, and like all the tickets went in a day, and you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that wasn't that the biggest selling arena tour that year in the UK?
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible, isn't
it? And then it all went downhill from there. But
no, it didn't. So that's interesting because I was going to ask you about the Riverboat song and when you were writing that, like in a rehearsal room or whatever, if you felt like it was going to be a hit, but you actually didn't, and you intentionally put it out to not be, to cover yourselves in case it didn't.
Well, me and the guitarist came up with it between the two of us. We were at like sections each, and we knew it was really good and exciting.
Yeah, great.
And then, we jammed it with the drummer, and I was engineering and playing bass at the same time because we didn't have any money, but we had a nice little studio. So we jammed it with the drummer, we recorded it first take, the three of us, mixed it onto a cassette, gave it to the singer, he wrote the lyrics, came back the next day, distorted his voice a little bit because our mics weren't that good, just to give it some extra edge. He did it in a couple of takes, and it was done. And we were like, this is really good. Our contract with MCA, we insisted on 100% creative control because we'd had a really bad experience with Phonogram, who we'd been signed to a few years before, and it was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
We couldn't do anything we wanted. We were like, okay, we picked the singles. So as I said, that's why we picked Riverboat, because it was like, it's not a hit, it's okay, because it's not supposed to be. And then next thing you know, I was driving the drummer to the bank to lend him a tenner in Birmingham, in my mum's old Peugeot 205, turned on Radio 1, and it was on, daytime Radio 1, and we were like, oh shit.
Yeah, didn't Chris Evans really get behind it?
Yeah, and that was purely, I guess it was kind of luck, because it was a pilot for TFI Friday, just to see if it would work. So they filmed a whole show, but then to send it to the production company or whoever was paying for it, to see if they liked it. And they needed a band to come and, just to play on it. And we were like, yes, sod it, we'll do it. And he loved the tune. I think he really appreciated the fact we'd come down and done this thing which was never going to be aired if it all went wrong. And then obviously he was like, well, that's going to be the theme tune, because, then it got picked up by the production company or whoever it was. And it's like, you're going to be on whenever you want to come on. So it was like, all right, cool. So yeah, that kind of helped as well.
That's amazing. So during, in fact, Ocean Colour Scene, you then became the bass player for Paul Weller. What was that like? How did that come about? Like, obviously, he's got to be a hero of yours, he's a hero of mine.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly, we'd supported Weller in 91 or 92 for 3 or 4 shows, because then we had the same agent or something, and he just needed a support band. And then he really liked what we were doing then, even though, looking back, we were fucking awful at that time. We were like really trying to sort of substandard Stone Roses rip-off, sort of thing, mixed with a bit of shoegazy bullshit. But anyway, he really liked it, and he liked what Steve, our guitarist, the way he played. So he got Steve in to do the Wildwood tour, and then we kind of used to hang out a lot, and then he really liked my bass playing, so he just asked me for the Stanley Road tour. He said, right, this was on the Friday, he came up to our studio to put some guitar down on a couple of the tracks on Moses Shoals. He said, what are you doing on Monday, mate? I said, I don't know. He said, well, get your fucking arse down, or whatever studio it was, you've got an audition with me, right? And I was like, okay, and then I was like, oh, fuck. Because he left a piece of paper for me with a list of 72 songs from the Jam Style Council through some solo stuff. I thought he wanted me to learn them all.
Right.
So for the next 48 hours, I did not go to bed. I learned every single one of these songs, all 72 songs. I probably badly, but I knew them. So I turned up at rehearsal. He was like, which 10 did you learn? I was like, yeah, you didn't write that piece of paper. I only wanted me to learn 10. I said, I learned them all. I think that was because I put all that work in. He was like, you've got the gig.
Yeah, amazing.
So yeah, it was good fun, but it was weird because when I was growing up, I was my sort of music I was into was like Echo and the Bunnymen and New Order and all this sort of stuff. But my sister was really into the Style Council. So because my sister liked them, I fucking hated them for no reason. Yeah, my sister likes them, they've got to be shit.
Yeah.
So quite often we'd be in rehearsal and Paul would start playing a Style Council song, but I would have never heard it because I refused to listen to him. So it'd be like a Style Council song, like Man of Great Promise or something. And I said to him, is that a new song, Paul? And he was like, fucking kidding me? Which actually people really liked as well, because it wasn't like, oh, I'm a sycophant, and I love the Style Council. I just said, look, I was just honest. I said my sister liked Style Council, so I hated them on principle.
I bet that was actually quite refreshing for him, because I bet so many people just suck up to him. So yeah,
totally. He is surrounded by yes, Paul, people.
I mean, to be honest, I can't wait for that. I can't wait until everyone's too overly nice to me. I'm sick of not getting that. I'm sick of no Thom, no Thom, no Thom. That's all I get. Aside from Paul Weller, you've got some massive, a massive CV, really. Like the people that you've worked with either in the studio or live. Paul McCartney. What's Paul McCartney like to work with?
Oh, that was funny. And there's a bit of a backstory to this, because my mum went to school with George Harrison.
Wow.
Right. And in fact, George played at my mum's 21st birthday party.
Wow.
And I've got a great picture of George with his quiff and his white semi-acoustic and my mum in the background. But anyway, so my mum went to school with George, and my dad, or her boyfriend at the time, was 2 years older, and he had a driver's license. When they got the Silver Beatles together, they were going to Hamburg for the second time. They're going to Germany for their second tour. They bought a van. The only person they knew in their sort of wider circle of friends was my mum's boyfriend, my dad, driver's license. So he was like, hey, Irene, will you ask your fella if he wants to be our tour manager? So that my mum asked me dad, and he's like, I'll have to speak to my dad. What do you think? What do you think my granddad said? You want to do what? You want to go around Germany with this band no one's ever heard of?
Wow.
Fuck, right off. So he didn't do it. So the guy they found to take was Neil Aspinall, who until he died was still McCartney's manager. So when I met McCartney to play bass with him at Abbey Road, he had Neil Aspinall with him. So I got introduced to Neil Aspinall, his manager. I'm like, oi, mate, you've got my dad's job. And he was like, what?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. But he was lovely. He was so nice. Such a good fella. It's one of those things, Weller was there as well. And it's the only time I've seen Weller be starstruck.
Yeah.
Because normally it's the other way around. Everyone's starstruck on him, and he was literally couldn't even look at McCartney. He was like,
really? That's always interesting to me. Do famous people get starstruck when they meet the heroes?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So what about you work with Noel and Liam as well, right? Was it
Oasis? Yeah, and they asked me to join the band when Gwigsy left. They had that kid Scott McLeod, who was I think he was in the band for about 5 weeks, and then he jacked it in because he was missing his girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
And then Noel came. Yeah, Noel came around. I was in a car with Noel and Liam going somewhere. I can't remember where we were going. And Noel was like, do you want to join the band? And I was like, yeah, of course. Of course I will. He said, you can't be going out with anyone else. In other words, what it meant was I'd have to leave my band and I'd have to not play with Weller. And I was like, mate, that's a big ask. So he said, give me a couple of weeks to think about it. And at the end, I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to carry on playing with Weller. At that time, it was Oasis, then my band, and then everyone else.
Yeah.
So my band was like almost as big as Oasis. And I'm like, me and my 3 divvy mates, we've gone from being on the dole to this, and we've done it together. I can't then just walk away from them. So I turned them down.
Well,
yeah. Which is also good for your CV.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. Well, I get it. But wow, that's be a tough decision.
It was, yeah. But then, and then you see how things progress and you're like, actually, it was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah,
I wanted to talk to you, probably a bit nerdy, but I'm a big, although I play guitar in the Lottery Winners, the only reason I do that is because we've got an exceptional bass player called Katie Lloyd, who's probably the best bass player that I've ever seen. And so there was no point me doing it when I knew her. But that was my first instrument, really. So that 70s jazz bass that you've got, that is a beautiful thing. Like, that has surely seen some. When did you get that?
I got that in 1992 for 500 quid.
Wow, really?
I mean, it's worth a fuck ton. The reason why, in 92, because I think most bass players and most music shops, they were obsessed with the Chili Peppers and Flea, and he always played one of those really heavy Music Man, Ernie Ball, those fucking horrible things. And no one was interested in old jazz basses, but I fucking wanted one.
Yeah.
Because my bass hero was Les Patterson from the Bunny Men, and he always played a jazz bass. So I wanted a blue one. They didn't have a blue one in the shop, they just had that one. And I picked it up, I played it, I was like, I'm having this. How much? 500 quid. I was like, I just took it. So I've had it since 92. It's never been cleaned. It's disgusting. It's got 28 years worth of my fluids and skin all over it. So it probably smells a bit, but because of that, the tone of it is just beautiful. It's just donk. It's just
Yeah.
dead. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I've used it on everything, really. Yeah, I love it.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, wow, what a bass. Right, well, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I've probably had you for too long already, but I just really appreciate
Let me show you.
Yeah.
Let me show you something. I'm talking about the Bunny Man. This thing, this acoustic
Oh.
bass. This was the bass that was used on Ocean Rain, Mike and the Bunny Man.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I know. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. When all this lockdown's over, I'm coming round, me.
Okay.
We'll have a jam. Let's write some songs together.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there you heard it here first. Coming 2021,
100%.
our new album.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, man. Well, great chatting to you today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, and nice to meet you, man.
Now, I'll do the Zoom thing where you go at the end and a big wicked top
Nice
man.
one, man. Catch you later.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.